what's poppin', yo? This one will be me just talking about all three Drake albums together. This ain't no damn album review. If you want that, go somewhere else. But it will be my experience listening to these albums several times. I haven't listened to all of them several times, but some albums I've listened to more than the others. So we're gonna start off with my Iceman for sure. I'm not saying Iceman is my favorite, but Iceman is what was leading up to this. Maid of Honor and Habibi were both just drops that we didn't even expect. But out of those two, Maid of Honor is certainly my number one. I've come back to that album. It's the second one I listened to. And it's like the album that you just feel. I mean, we're talking about hits on that album, such as Road Trips. I mean, Phase as well. The Central C song, I don't even remember that song, because it has a bunch of streams. So clearly it came out at a certain point. I don't even remember listening to it. That was my first. I'm listening through the track list. And I'm like, damn, this Central C song is fire. I didn't know that Central C song came out. I don't know how I missed a Drake and Central C song, or yeah, I just don't know. I've got amnesia or something like that. It might be the case. Who knows? But the True Bestie song is a banger. Princess is my favorite of the three albums altogether. Like that outro, man, it's really Drake getting out of his comfort zone. And I feel like this album, to me, was what I think Drake had intended to make with Honestly Nevermind, which I thought was a pile of dung. I thought it was some garbage. Maybe there was like a song or two on there that I messed with. But this album is like a more developed version of that, to me. I don't think it's the same, maybe not the same style, but it is in that realm. I do think it's going to have the people moving. I think this is a co-ed album. I think both men and women will enjoy this very much the same. Like the Road Trips, man, the production on here, you've got Gordo all over this, and there is a little bit of controversy regarding Gordo being on here, and some producers and other people, like I've covered 1900 Rugrat talking about how he felt like he got robbed for his beat, but that wasn't on Iceman. That was on Iceman. That wasn't on Maid of Honor. So Maid of Honor is definitely the one that I've listened to the most. I've probably listened to Maid of Honor 4 or 5 times at this point. So it's clearly my favorite in terms of replay value. We'll go to my least favorite, or just the one that I've revisited the least, and that would be Habibi. I listened to that one the first time. It's a good album. And this one is, you can just see by the feature list, right? Like you've got Kendrisa here. You've got a song titled WNBA. You've got Sexy Red feature. You've got a Party Next Door feature, which you guys know I love me some Party Next Door. But just from this track listing and from the fact that I've only listened to this album 1.5 times, I think this one was intentionally made with women in mind. Obviously, like that's Drake's lifestyle, but this is going to appeal to them more than it does for the guys. Like I said, Maid of Honor, I feel like is a co-ed album or a unisex album. This one, I think it's mostly chicks that will say, if somebody says that this is their favorite album, I'm going to assume that they're a girl. So we're just going to move past this. I do need to listen to this a little bit more, but I haven't revisited it. So I think that says all that there is to say. Now, Iceman, after the first listen, or the first 2 listens on the first day, I thought that this was a solid album, but I found myself not coming back to it. Like I said, day 2 and day 3, I listened to Maid of Honor a lot. And I was like, well, maybe Iceman, it just felt like a little bit of homework. It felt like a harder listen in that I'm trying to catch things. Like we know that the writing on here is pristine. Like he is throwing subliminals at who knows how many people just from the preparation for the rollout of this album, which I will have to separate into another video because in short, I do owe this guy an apology, if you want to call it that. Not really an apology, but I was wrong about the way that this album was rolled out. But like you just look at the magazine, you look at all of the teasers. He was preparing the big ice block in Toronto. We can see a teaser for it maybe like a year and a half ago. So this entire 2 years post beef have been Iceman and little hints and little Easter eggs that he's dropped. So clearly the lyrics are dense here. But listening to this album, I came up with most of the tweets that I've released this week. Some have performed quite well. I really don't like that some are performing quite well, to be honest. But for example, in the tweet that I put out where I said Drake set to perform at Rolling Loud soon, Drake is rewarding loyalty this year. That's clear with the rollout. I've covered that previously in a couple of other tweets. But I said, in Whisper My Name, he raps, we turned up Coachella, had boys backing down, and we might do the same if we touch Rolling Loud. Aiden Ross has been one of Drake's biggest supporters throughout this beef. He got shouted out on a song, Aiden Ross that is. And he refuses to even let Kendrick Lamar play and tells everybody that Drake won the beef. A couple of months ago, he was on live stream saying that Drake needed to perform at Rolling Loud because he's never done it. And the Rolling Loud co-founder said that they offer Drake the maximum amount every year and he hasn't taken it up yet.
I'm not gonna lie, yo, Drake got to do Rolling Loud one time, bro.
Yo, facts. Hey. I send an offer to Drake every year.
You do?
Yeah.
Is it public or no?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
The number?
Oh, we send them our max offer.
You guys should do
millions of dollars.
You guys should do a wireless thing. Gave him 3 days.
That's my idea. Actually, it was Matt's idea. My bad. It was Matt's idea.
Yo, you know Rolling Loud offered Drake 3 nights, like headline. The same thing wireless did. That would have been lit.
Wireless offer. But he loves wireless, bro. He loves going to London.
Yeah.
The last time Kendrick Lamar performed at Rolling Loud, he was headlining in 2022 in Miami. This was 2 months after Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers release. So he seems to perform at Rolling Loud, at least judging from this last one, when an album drops. But when GNX dropped, he did not perform at any Rolling Louds in 2024 or 2025, when it would have been at its peak for them to get him. It would have made sense for him to do that because he performed at other festivals, and the Super Bowl too. So perhaps behind the scenes, Rolling Loud has also been showing loyalty to Drake, and he's willing to finally perform on this stage. Now, the reason why I even came up with this, I wasn't sitting there looking through the lyrics, having a page open and seeing like, okay, where can I draw some comparisons? No, not at all. I haven't done that with any things that I've come up with in regards to this album. I actually got a message from a friend who was listening to the album, and he sends me the song Whisper My Name, and he's like, yo, banger. Keep in mind, I hadn't listened to Iceman for about 24 hours at this point. I was just listening to Maid of Honor and just some other music that's been dropping. That Fake Mink album has not, well, it should be out by the time this video comes out. But yeah, I'm looking forward to listening to that one. That one's at the top of mind right now. But for that song, I'm listening to it and I'm on a walk. I'm like, okay, let me check this song out. Let me get back to Iceman. And then I hear the Rolling Loud bar. And then in my mind, I draw the comparison. Immediately, I remember that clip visually and auditory. I'm like, yo, there was a clip of Aiden Ross at the Young Boy show with one of the co-founders of Rolling Loud. And then I just draw up that connection. And then it leads me to looking into if Kendrick Lamar was performing at Rolling Loud. But the point here is that I happenstanced into this. And I think this is a gift of an album. And it reminds me of the experience of listening to Lil Wayne growing up and revisiting Lil Wayne's music. And Lil Wayne, YMCMB, Drake is of Lil Wayne's lineage. But for example, Lil Wayne, when you listen to his music, there are certain bars that initially you're like, what the hell is this goofy stuff? What the hell is he saying? And then it hits you later and you just think, oh, whoa, that's what he meant. Oh, like just that, oh, shoot moment, like when you're driving or something like that. And granted, the depth of Lil Wayne's lyrics, it's not going to reference certain things like Drake has. Yet, we've all lived through and paid attention to all of the stuff that's been happening with Drake, just in general. So, since the beef, before the beef, so we can draw comparisons to this. And it's almost like Iceman and these types of lyrics are a gift to us that are really tuned in, but it doesn't ruin the listening experience for a casual Drake fan who's not going to draw that connection, who's not going to think of any relation past the surface level of the lyrics. Like, okay, this sounds good. Oh, shoot, he shouted out Aiden Ross. Wait, no, he meant Aiden Ross too. So he's talking about Rick Ross, and that's a shot at him, and he was helping him with streams. But if you know Drake, like what I was talking about in the Rolling Loud clip, it doesn't seem that much of a reach because Drake is an avid stream viewer. Like he had Yana, who's a newer streamer, on his project. She gives like a little voiceover. and he has Ben the Don on there. Ben the Don he's been cool with since before Ben the Don was an active streamer. But Drake has been in streams. He watches Aiden Ross. He watches Trainwrecks. He watches Kai Cenat. He called in to Kai Cenat when a previous album of his dropped. I think it was Her Loss. Was it Her Loss? One of those albums. I don't know if it was either For All the Dogs or Her Loss, because I remember it was heartbreaking for academics. Or it was heartbreaking to witness academics go through that heartbreak and be like, nah, Drake said he's going to call in. And then he's like, yeah, he was just too busy and I just got too drunk. And then I think that's the infamous clip where he falls asleep during the listening of the album. So Iceman doesn't feel like homework anymore because I can just casually listen to it. And because I, and many of you likely as well, have been following everything that's been going on, things are just going to pop up in front of us. And it's almost like the gift that keeps on giving. And I think it will age well because of that. Like we're constantly uncovering different things, which will lead people to go back and listen to the music. And nothing is a reach, really. Like everything has to do with something that's been going on in Drake's life. And Drake's life has been hectic, or the name Drake has been hectic of the past 4 or 5 years. And I really enjoy that experience of listening. So that made me want to listen to Iceman even more because I'm like, you know what? I don't have to, well, I've never done this before, but I don't have to sit there and watch and listen to the songs and have the lyrics open and be like, what is he thinking about here? Where could this compare? No, I can just go about my life, listen and enjoy the music. And like a magician brings up a rising card out of the deck, that's exactly what's going to happen at random times. And it could happen today. It could happen a week from now. It could happen a month from now. Hell, it could happen 6 months from now. And I wonder how much of an enjoyable experience this is for Drake to be watching this, because when you plant seeds like this or when you put these little Easter eggs, you're excited to see who's going to reveal it, if people are going to reveal it at all, and when they are going to reveal it. Like, did it take a month for them to catch on to this? 2 months? Okay, 6 months later, they finally got what I was talking about. So that's why I think Iceman is one of the best albums to drop in the past several years. And I'm listening to it a little bit more, but I'm listening to song by song now. Like I listen to it based off of which sounds I like, and then we can get into the lyrics. And that's where I think Drake shines the most, and where people that are purists when it comes to lyrics just always fail because they lean too heavy on the lyrics and are unable to create a body of work and music that is lyrically dense, but it can appeal to a casual. Like a casual, the bars can fly completely over their head. That's why I think Lil Wayne was so great, although Lil Wayne was more punchlines. But the bars can fly completely over their head and they can still enjoy it. Now, you get a Travis Scott, which is perfect for the masses because there's not a single Travis Scott bar that's ever flew over anybody's head, honestly. The Travis Scott bars, if anything, they're going underneath the person's feet. Like they're the gum on the sidewalk that's like black now because it's been there for years. You're just walking right over it, not even thinking about it. That's how simple and dumbed down his bars are. Honestly, if you think about his bars, they get even worse because then you start to realize like, what, this guy's saying a bunch of nothing. How does he do it? How does he make it sound so good? But hey, that's without even getting into Don Toliver because I don't even know what Don Toliver be saying, but I do know it's fire. That's all I know. But I feel like I've deviated. I've gone from Drake to Travis Scott to Don Toliver, which interestingly enough, Travis Scott was left off of this album. Is there some tension there? I don't know. But yeah, those are my initial thoughts so far. It's only been a week, and I think this is an album that is going, I don't think. This is an album that's going to last. Who else is going to drop something? At this point in time, too, if Kendrick Lamar drops and it has nothing to do with Drake, I sincerely believe it's going to be dead on arrival. Like, all it will be is the Kendrick stans talking about it, but Kendrick stans don't have anything to talk about if it's not associated with Drake. There is nothing. They're not going to be like, yo, Kendrick's talking about potentially marrying his wife or his baby mama. Nobody cares about that. Besides that, they don't even care about that. So if Kendrick Lamar does drop something, and some people are rumoring that he's set to drop soon, and it does mention Drake, then it's just like, okay, dog, you didn't really mention Drake in GNX. and then now you're going to mention him again? Like, come on. And it'll probably be some simple bars like, I had to do a victory lap or something like that. But that's not enough. Drake has touched too many people. And like I said, he's dropped 3 albums. These albums hit every single possible demographic except Kendrick Lamar stans that are insane. And even they're listening to it constantly. They have to closet enjoy it because they won't be able to go outside the summer without hearing something from those 3 albums. The best thing Kendrick Lamar can do is just enjoy the elevated level of fame that he's gotten from winning very convincingly a tough beef that in the beginning, a lot of people didn't think he would have a chance, especially after Push-Ups. And the other song, Tailor Made, I'm thinking of Wiz Khalifa, who's got an album coming out with MGK, which we will all be listening to, actually. We will be listening to that together in spirit. But yeah, let me know what y'all think in the comments. What's funny is that J. Cole's, that thing was, not DOA. That's too much. Sway Lee's album was certainly DOA. But J. Cole's album just faded into the wind. But J. Cole's always been his fan base type of artist. And Drake kicked him to the curb. So unfortunately, J. Cole, the fall off. I'm not going to say J. Cole fell off. That would be disrespectful. But let me know what y'all think in the comments. Like and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. And I'm going to see y'all in the next one.